Top MMA organizations like UFC and One Championship are highly respected because of their transparency and fairness. Routine tests and measures mean that athletes are prevented from engaging in doping and all forms of cheating except one: weight cutting. The word has become almost synonymous with all combat sports, including mixed martial arts, shielding adoring fans and viewers from the harsh realities of elite combat sports. I'm Jin from Beyond the Octagon, and in this video, we shed more light on the brutal and sometimes fatal MMA culture that is weight cutting. In elite combat sports, athletes are usually pitted against opposition that sometimes outclass them in skill or genetic predisposition. So to increase the chances of winning a fight, they look for advantages over their opponents. Every fighter that has made it to the elite level is a champion in their own right. So many times your A game alone won't cut it. While height and reach can be a great advantage to have over an opponent, that doesn't always work as well as it should. You've probably heard of the David and Goliath story. However, a significant weight difference can all but assure victory. This is why elite level combat sports are divided based on weight class and why the deadly act of weight cutting has become a culture in MMA. There are 4 weight classes for women in the UFC and 8 for the men. MMA fighters are weighed in a day before the fight, and failure to meet the listed weight class could lead to a disqualification and even a fine. But what if there was a way to manipulate your weight so that you could pass the weigh-in but regain just before the fight to have an edge over your opponent? It's seemingly clear that Khabib Nurmagomedov walks around at approximately 190 pounds. He could easily lose 5 pounds and compete in the middleweight division. Or he could lose 20 pounds, which is still relatively manageable for an athlete, and try his luck in the welterweight class. But what if he could push even more? What if he somehow drops to the lightweight class at 155 pounds during weigh-in and regain 20 pounds on fight night? His weight advantage could overwhelm his opponents, leading to a dominant performance. Here's how we do it. Say the fight is 2 to 3 months away. He'd start with training camp, the period where he whips his body to peak physical condition for a fight. While he's doing that, he'll lose some weight thanks to rigorous training and good old dieting, but that's mostly good for only a few pounds. The real work begins on fight week when Khabib would commence water loading. This involves manipulating various systems in the body to lose an enormous amount of weight in as little as a week. The athlete would start by drinking up to 2 gallons on the first day, reducing to a gallon for the next 2 days, cutting to half a gallon, then to almost no water on the day of the weigh-in, all while on an even stricter diet than before.
The idea that the best way to fight is to cheat and to drain all yourself of fluids and then pretend that you're 160 pounds, then get back on the scale, 15 hours later at 185, that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense.
The sharp increase in water intake triggers a reduction in the production of aldosterone, a hormone that helps conserve sodium and eliminate potassium. This is followed by a sharp and dangerous drop in water intake. Despite minimal intake of water, their bodies continue to expel fluids, resulting in frequent urination. This process causes rapid weight loss as they excrete more fluids than they consume, aiding in meeting the weight requirements for their upcoming fights. But this is only a third of the process. During this period of intense dehydration, some athletes also undergo a starvation regime, while others take diuretics and other supplements to aid in more water loss. There is also a need to stay away from carbs and salt that otherwise destroy the sole purpose of water loading. By minimizing carb intake, fighters also decrease their muscle glycogen levels, which serve as a primary fuel source for muscle metabolism. This reduction typically results in a weight loss of more than 1 pound as glycogen stores diminish. Seeing the weigh-ins live, you can clearly see why fighters look like zombies on the scale. The final step involves sweating like crazy. Athletes would don plastic tracksuits or sweatsuits while performing low-intensity exercises to shed any extra weight. Come weigh-in day, Khabib would unfailingly come in 155 pounds or under. Almost everyone finds it easier to gain weight than to lose it, so the rest for some of the athletes is a literal cakewalk, as many of them drink gallons of water to rehydrate. The successful completion of this process is weight cutting, and if done properly, the athlete, or in this case Khabib, would come out as the heavier and stronger fighter. Fighters who don't do it are always at a disadvantage. UFC and other elite organizations has almost become a battle of who cuts their weight better. On October 24th of 2020, Khabib Nurmagomedov faced his final and formidable match against Justin Gaethje. Khabib's ability and experience with weight cutting undoubtedly contributed to his strength advantage, particularly in grappling exchanges where his size and control were evident. You could see the immense toll on his body and the huge relief when he made weight the day prior. Khabib ended up dominating the match and won via triangle choke in the second round. If weight cutting is so common and almost crucial for an easier victory, why is it so bad? In December of 2015, Yang Jianbing, a 21-year-old mixed martial artist, was scheduled to compete at One Championship 35 in Manila, Philippines against 𝐤𝐢𝐤𝐞. Yang, who had a speculated walk-around weight of 135 to 145 pounds, was attempting to make the flyweight division a 125-pound class. This meant he had to lose around 10 to 20 pounds by weigh-in day. Unfortunately, Yang never made it to weigh-in day as he died from a heart attack. Weight cutting, as you may have guessed, is highly unnatural, and many athletes have died in the process. Yang is only one of such athletes, and the practice is not limited to mixed martial artists. Athletes ranging from high school wrestlers to pro kickboxers engage in weight cutting to fit into a desired weight class. One of the most obvious problems with rapid weight cutting is that it can lead to severe dehydration. Severe dehydration can affect almost every bodily system, adding extra stress to the kidneys and causing kidney issues. It thickens the blood and can lead to electrolyte imbalances. Electrolytes like potassium, sodium, and calcium are vital for functions such as muscle contractions and nerve signaling. An imbalance in these electrolytes can cause muscle cramps, weakness, seizures, and in Yang's case, a heart attack. The damage doesn't end there. Dehydration also reduces the fluid surrounding the brain, lessening its protective cushioning. This heightens the risk of concussion or brain injury during a fight, particularly given the inherent dangers of head trauma in combat sports. Beyond these immediate dangers, repeated cycles of rapid weight loss and gain can have a lasting impact on an athlete's metabolism, cardiac health, and overall physiological well-being. The yo-yo dieting often required during weight cutting can cause nutrient deficiencies, a weakened immune system, and hormonal imbalances. Paddy Pimblett is a clear example of a notorious yo-yo dieter. Just see his photos when he's not preparing for a fight and you'll be stunned at his transformation. In reaction to the deaths of athletes like Yang Bing and Leandro Souza who died of heat stroke, some elite-level MMA competitions have integrated special tests and measures that prevent or at the very least reduce weight cutting. One Championship conducts hydration tests along with weigh-ins to prove they're not weight cutting. Even then, some fighters work closely with expert health professionals and nutritionists to cheat these tests like they do with weigh-ins. However, some competitions don't do any extra tests and take weight cutting as part of the sport. Many elite athletes like Cris Cyborg have detailed videos of their history with weight cutting. Others appear at weigh-ins with huge bowls of water, signaling that they need severe dehydration. Others have mastered and perfected the art as they risk their lives and health in a bid to stay at the elite level of combat sports. The impact of weight cutting is heavily debated. Many elite athletes thrive at weight classes below their usual weights, but experts assert that the risks are much greater than the rewards. There are athletes like Colby Covington, Michael Bisping, and Robert Whittaker who have achieved great success in MMA without extreme weight cutting. Competing closer to the natural weight allows them to maintain better health, endurance, and overall performance. They have proof that skill, strategy, and conditioning can overcome the perceived advantages of significant weight cuts. Nothing beats skill, technique, and grit. Athletes like Khabib possesses these attributes in abundance, but in a competition where everyone is bringing nothing but their best, even the tiniest advantages are magnified. Our respect goes up to all the athletes who go over and beyond to compete no matter the odds. So should weight cutting be a part of combat sports? Share your thoughts in the comments. Weight cutting, countless hours in the gym, strict diets, and pain. What do UFC fighters make for all their hard work? The reality will shock you. Click on this video to see how much money UFC fighters are worth.